Hey, what's going on, everybody? So it's Keith here with Coding Blind Tech. I know it's been a while, about 2 years actually. So had a, I have had a lot go on, and it has been quite an adventure. So I started a job full time as a junior software developer, back in October, of 2021. So a little over a year ago. Um, and I was in that role for 10 months. Now I've changed jobs and in a higher role, a more senior role, which is actually crazy. But I love the responsibilities. I love what I do, and now I need to get back on this video thing so I can start passing on some of this knowledge and helping people understand and believe and have hope that as a person with visual impairment, or if you're completely blind like I am and you use a screen reader or any software for accessibility, it is, or I should say, adaptive technology, that it's very possible. So hopefully I can help others out there like me. So, all right, this video, it's been a long time, but I have learned in the industry that tools are important. I used to always find ways to not have to use tools because they would give me a fit, um, especially around version control and Git and being able to like check pull requests, and be that person that you can trust in to review and give an honest review. So I want to get you started on that. And so today we're going to be talking about Visual Studio Code, but that's not going to be the main point, talking point. The main talking point is going to be Git, and more specifically, Gitlens. That's Gitlens. This is an extension for Visual Studio Code that will help you get a just it's Git on steroids. I mean, it just gives you everything you need to be able to see history and changes and be able to diff branches and different commits and things like that. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm not going to dive too deep into it. What I'll probably do is have like an initial introduction video, and then we will do a more deep dive on it. So
OBS
the first thing I'm going to
videos
do
roll one column two videos
is
OBS
get out
Windows
my
64 colon OBS videos
videos. So
OBS
I will move
Windows
that.
64
Now I'm on the command line right now. So I have git bash
E A T
open,
like
and we're going to change directories into my repos, because what I'm going to do is create a um, a repository for YouTube in my sandbox, and then we're going to we're gonna init git there, and then I'm gonna show you some stuff. So, all right, so let's cd into the directory I've
C
saved
D
around.
C D space C C L D E code R A L F Windows 64 colon
So
slash
we'll
D
go into repos.
D C
Actually,
D
we'll go
space dot
back
slash
because
S
we're
A
gonna go to
D L Windows
sandbox,
64 colon
and then we'll
M
make
D
a
I R
directory
U T E
called
YouTube
YouTube,
E B U U L Y space
and I'm just make dir mkdir space, and then our
Y
directory
U U
name
E T like
YouTube,
laptop dash into Windows 6
and we're gonna
D C D Y
cd
U U
into
B E
YouTube.
Windows 64 colon slash D
All right. Getting started. We haven't even opened Visual Studio Code yet. I used to be just strictly on the command line when it came to Git, but now I do very few things on the command line with Git, and I do most of it inside of Visual Studio Code, inside of Gitlens. So what we want to do is initialize this as a Git repo, but we want to add a file to it. So we'll just
E H
echo
O Echo
greater
reader
than sign, no spaces, and we're
R
just going
E
to do
E R
a
cap R
readme
cap E cap A cap E cap M cap E reading dot
dot
M D T like laptop dash
md.
into Windows 64
And then we can do git, so
G I T
git
Git
space
space I N I
init.
T initialize empty Git repository in C colon slash code slash sandbox.
So it initializes our empty repository. So um, from here, it's just an initial commit. So all we're worried about doing is doing a git add.
I T Git A D
So we do git space add space,
add space
and then
dot
dot. And then here you can do
space
space two and, so and percent, so two of those,
and
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 and.
Space.
And what this will allow us to do is execute two commands on one line. So we can actually do git add dot space and space, and then we can do
G.
git
I. T. Git. Space.
space
C. O. M. M. I.
commit
Commit. Space.
space
Dash.
dash
M.
m,
M. Quote.
put our quotes, so quote quote, and then left arrow one time,
Space.
and then do initial commit.
I. N. I. T. I. L.
So
Initial. O. M. M.
initial
I.
commit.
Left bracket main left paren. Root dash commit right paren. E3 FC24 right bracket initial commit. One file change. One insertion left.
There we go. Now we can do a git status. So
G. I.
git
T. Git.
space
S. A. U. S. Sandbox.
status.
Gitter YouTube. Unbranched main.
All right. So sometimes git bash does that with whenever there's a lot in the review up top in the screen. So we're gonna clear it
C.
with clear,
F. E. A. R. Key laptop dash.
and then we're gonna run git. We can actually up arrow twice.
Dollar clear. Dollar git status. Unbranched main. Nothing to commit. Working free clean. Key laptop.
All right. I just noticed my screen reader is going super fast. So let me slow that down for you,
Rate 90. Rate 90. Rate 80. Rate 8. Rate 75. Rate 70.
and then let me do that again.
Dollar. Unbranched main. Nothing to commit. Working tree clean. K black
Okay.
and laptop dash game Jim
So we're
Flamingo
on branch
64
main.
/C /code /sandbox.
Nothing to commit. Working tree clean. Now from here to open this in Visual Studio Code, we're going to type code
C O E dot
space dot.
K black and laptop dash game Jim Flamingo 64 /C /code /sandbox /YouTube left paren main right paren dollar
Nice. So sometimes it doesn't focus the screen, but if you do, you can Alt Tab to it, but I'm pretty sure if I do Alt Shift Tab,
task switching
it'll go right
Explorer OBS 29 get started dash YouTube dash get start
there.
overview of
Okay.
list with 4 items.
All right, so now we have this open. I want to show you how to install this. So if you, in Visual Studio Code, if you hold down Control Shift and then press X as an X-ray,
Search extensions in marketplace 3
so
extensions
you'll be able to search your extensions. It goes straight to the search input field, and we can type git
G I T
git,
Y
if
I
I can
G
type
20 G I T L E
gitle
N S
in
24
S,
extensions
so
found.
Gitlens, and we can tab,
Gitlens extensions list Gitlens
and it should be one of the first ones. Let me
Gitlens
let you
left
listen to it.
Gitlens M-Git supercharged 1.3.2.0 publisher Git Kraken supercharged Git within VS Code M-visualize code authorship at a glance via Git blame annotate
All right, this is the one we want. Now I already have this installed, but if I press
extension
enter on
colon
it, it'll open up
extension colon
everything you need to
Gitlens M
know. But for you,
extension colon
the way that you
Gitlens
want to
selected
do it is when after you're in the search field and you type Gitlens and press enter, you want to press tab,
extensions list Gitlens M Gitlens
and then make sure
Gitlens
you're on
M-Git
that
supercharged
first one. Let
Gitlens
me let you listen to it again.
Gitlens M-Git supercharged 1.3.2.0 publisher Git Kraken
So Gitlens and then Get Supercharged is what it says, and then the publisher is Get Kraken. So actually, now that we have our focus on here, if you don't have this installed, you can just press tab,
toolbar switch to pre-release
and it tells me switch to pre-release version, but for you, you should hear install. And if you press enter on that, it will start the installation. Now, typically the way you would get to your version control in Visual Studio Code is Control Shift G as in golf, and you do that all at the same time. Whenever you enable Gitlens, it changes your keyboard a little bit. So what you will have to do is you have to do Control Shift G and then G again,
G source control management tree view
and then that will open up your source control. So from here, we can tab, and you should hear the same thing I do. If you didn't, then something did not install correctly. So you might want to go back and try that again. But if we tab,
publish branch button
we can publish this branch. Now what that will do is publish it to our remote origin. And right now we actually don't have a remote origin for this Git repo because it's only on our local machine. So we can press tab,
commit section button collapsed
and we're going to see commits. And this is what I mean by I'll do a deeper dive and more videos as I go through, because I don't want to make you sit here for 25 minutes. Or even longer. It would take hours to go through all of this. So the main goal is to have little short 10-15 minute videos to walk you through this, so you kind of have it in sections. I'm also going to write the documentation on like what all. So basically, what I'll have is I'll have a document that will go with a video, and that's my goal. So to basically be the steps that I go through, the shortcut keys I use, the words that I use, but it'll be in a document format. And then the videos are here just to have follow through, for you to be able to see how it actually does happen, maybe some of the things I run into. So we're going to tab again,
Commit details section button collapsed.
commit details,
File history section button collapsed.
file history, and I'm just tabbing.
Branches section button collapsed.
We have our branches,
Remote section button collapsed.
remote, so that kind of shows what's on remote.
Stashes section button collapsed.
Stashes, so it's anything we've stashed anywhere.
Tag section button collapsed.
Our tags, so if we tag branches, or commits, like that's for deployment, stuff like that.
Work tree section button collapsed.
So our work tree,
Search and compare section button
and
collapsed.
then the last thing in this list, in this little panel, is search and compare. So that's actually where we can take like, um, so let me show you. I can actually spend the time to show you that example real quick, and then we can end this video. So what we would do is let's say that this is a JavaScript project.
Mingo 64 colon Ming
So what we can do is just
E
um, I'm on my
space
command line, and what I'm going to do is
E
just
C H
echo greater
O
than and then
Echo M N J
main.js.
K Blackett laptop dash
This just gives us a main.js file.
extension colon Git
And then if I
G source control
press Control Shift G and then G again by itself, it will open up my source control, and I can down arrow.
blank
Nope, sorry. What you want to do is as soon as you open up your source control, the first thing you want to do is tab.
commit button.
That'll put you on a commit button, but if you down arrow,
Source control input 1 of 3 level 1.
so what this does is now we're in like a little tree where it's going to show us our changes.
Dollar left paren. Changes not selected expanded through.
So changes, and it says not selected, but we can select that by pressing enter, but I'm not going to do that.
Level 2 main.js.
So it sees that we changed main.js.
Level 2 main.js. Untracked not selected 1 of 1.
And it says
Level 1 changes.
untracked.
Level 2
And what that means is that this is a file that Git has no clue about, which means that it's new. So what we want to do
level 1 changes not selected.
is there's two ways. You can either
Level 2
focus
main.js.
this file like I have right now and press the applications key, and you will find,
Menu.
let's do that, applications key, and then down arrow till you hear stage change.
Open file left. Stage changes 6 of 12.
And be careful here because there's also
Stash changes.
stash changes. You want to make sure you don't hit that one.
Stage changes 6 of
So
12.
stage change.
Source control manage.
Now, what I was going to show you is you can also go to the tab changes. So if we go, we're still going to have our changes tab,
Level 1 changes not.
but there's nothing under it. But if you hit the applications key on the changes tab,
Menu. Discard all. Close on.
so you'll hear all the options you have.
Discard all changes 1 of 6.
We can discard all.
Stage all changes 2 of 6.
We could stage all.
Stash all changes 3 of 6.
We could stash them.
Open changes submenu 4 of 6.
Open them.
Open all changes left.
Menu, so we can open all changes.
Open.
And I just right arrowed on that submenu to open it.
Open directory compare. Open directory compare left paren. Div tool right paren. 2 of 3. Open directory compare left paren.
So you got open directory compare. These are diff
Open directory compare left paren. Div tool right paren with 3 of 3.
And then we got open with. So I'm gonna left arrow to close that menu.
Open changes sub.
And then I'll show you.
Open changed files 5 of 6.
So you can open change files.
Close unchanged files 6 of
and
6.
You can close unchanged files. So. All right, so now that we've staged this change, what we can actually do is if you, after staging it, if you tab one time,
toolbar,
I like to tab twice. So I tab
commit section button collapsed.
the commit section. Now if you shift tab,
source control,
that's one time, shift tab again.
Menu button collapsed submenu.
Menu,
commit
shift
button.
tab again, you hear the commit button, shift tab one more time.
Message left.
And our message. Now, it's a little tricky sometimes to get to this message, but this time it worked just as expected. So right here, we can actually type in our message. So we'll just say that added
space
new main.js file.
New main JS
file. All right. So the quick way to commit this would be to do Control Enter.
File.
and then we can press tab,
Publish branch
and
button.
you hear publish branch again. But if we had a remote origin, we could actually push these changes to that remote origin. So what I want to show you is let's create a new branch.
Ming.
So I always go to the command line to do that. You can do git.
G. Git.
And I'm not going to say space anymore, but just know that if there's not a space between words, I will let you know. So git
C. H. K. U.
checkout, no
T.
spaces,
Checkout. Space.
dash
Dash. Cappy.
capital B,
B. Space.
and then your branch name. So we'll just say
Y. O.
YouTube
T. YouTube.
new.
N. Switch to a new branch YouTube dash new.
Okay, so now we've switched to a new branch, and now we're gonna create a new file. We're going to
E.
echo
C. O. Echo. Greater.
um,
N.
new
E. Cappy.
branch
A. New
dot
branch. K
JS.
Blackett laptop dash game.
All right, so now we've created a new file, and let's go
Extension
look
colon.
at
Extension.
what we have here. So I went back over to VS Code, and I'm going to do Control Shift E as an echo.
Application.
This will open up my file tree so I can actually look at my files. So I'm going to press Home.
Main.js 1 of 3 level 1.
Okay, so we got main.js 1 of 3.
New branch.js 2 of 3 level 1.
A new branch.
Readme.md 3 of 3 level 1.
And readme.md. All right, so let's say that we go
New
into
main.js.
main.js.
Main landmark. Main. Blank.
And we just create a comment
Slash.
here
Slash.
that
Space.
just says
C.
console
O. Console. Space. O. Out. Space. 2. U. M.
numbers.
Numjars. D.
Well,
Add selected. Numjar
I
selected.
can
U.
spell
M. R.
numbers
A.
added
D. E.
together.
T. E. E. R. Together.
All right, so we'll just say var1
V. A. R. Kappa. E. Equals. Space.
equals
4.
4.
4. Semi.
So
B. A. Cap T.
var2
O. Equals. Space. 4.
4.
4. Semi.
And then we'll just
C.
console
O. L. E. L. E.
dot
L.
log.
O. Go. Data colon. Console.log left paren. Right paren.
And then we can actually just do
V. A.
var
R. Kappa. N.
1
E. AR1
and then
plus space V. A. Cap T.
var2.
O. Main.js edit. Semi.
And then we'll save this.
/ console out 2 numbers. var1 equals 4 semi. var2 equals 4 semi. Console.log left paren. var1 plus var2 right paren. Semi.
All right, so there's our code there.
Files.
And
New
then
branch.
in our new branch,
Line feed selected. Line feed.
we'll just we'll create an array. So
N.
names.
M. S.
So we'll
Blank.
create,
Name selected.
Say let
T. Space.
names
S. Cap A. R.
array,
Y. Equals. Space. Left bracket.
and it'll just be
Space.
we'll do
Quote. Cap J. H. N.
John,
John. Comma. Space. Quote. A. R. K. Mark. Quote. Comma. Space. Quote.
and
K. R. I.
Kristen,
I. R. K. Cap K. I. S. N. Kristen. Quote. Blank.
like that.
Semi.
And we'll just loop through these names and print them out. So we'll just
Let names array.
say
Blank. N. M. E.
names
S. Cap A. R.
array
E. S. A. R. R. Names array. Dot.
dot
F.
for
R. Cap E.
each
H. For each. Left paren. E.
name,
Right paren. Equals. Greater.
and then we'll do
Space.
a fat arrow array,
Left brace. 4 space.
and we'll
C.
just console.log
G. Left paren. A.
name,
E. New branch. Semi.
like that.
No indent. Blank. Semi.
Okay, and I'll let you listen to what I wrote.
Let names array equals left bracket quote John quote. Quote mark quote.
And you know what? Before we actually read this, let me go over to
Quick
this
input
other
list.
file.
var1 equals 4 semi.
Because
Slash var1 equals 4 semi. V.
let's just do
L. Let.
let's put some
var2
lets
V.
on the
L.
beginning of
Let.
this.
Console.log left paren. Let var2 e.
All right.
Quick input
So
list.
coming back over to our new YouTube file, and I'll read through this for you.
Let names array equals left bracket quote John quote. Names array dot for each left paren. Let names array equals left bracket quote John quote. Quote mark quote. Quote Kristen quote right bracket semi. Names array dot for each left paren. Name right paren. Equals greater left brace. 4 space console.log left paren. Name right paren. Semi. No indent right brace right paren. Semi. Right brace right paren.
All right. So you hear the code there. So now we've changed 2 files and we've added to them. So let me show you how we look at that. So we could do Control Shift G
Read only.
and then
G.
G by itself.
Source control management tree view.
Press Tab one time.
Toolbar.
Go down arrow to your changes.
New branch.j. Main.j. Level 1 changes not selected. Expand.
So we have our changes. Let's see.
Level 2 main.js.
So
New
main.js,
branch.js.
new branch.js. Okay. So we're not going to look at how to see the changes or compare or do any diffs right now. The main goal is to go back through and commit this. And then what we'll do is we'll compare it quickly to main so I can show you where you'll see differences. So what we want to do is we can up
Main.js.
arrow
Level 1 changes not selected.
to changes and then applications key,
Menu. Discard all change. Stage all changes.
and we can down arrow till we hear stage all changes.
Source control.
Now what I do here, I press tab twice because we're gonna write a message and commit. So we press tab twice,
Toolbar. Commit section.
and then we shift tab till we hear our message.
Source. Menu button. Commit button. Message left paren. Control.
All right. So now in here we're gonna say
added. Added.
So we
Space.
added a new YouTube file, and then we added code to the main and the new YouTube file. So added
N
new
W Y
YouTube
T B
file
YouTube L N
and
A D added D code to I main JS
and
E new O U B YouTube selected Y T B F E J
file.js.
/ dot dot.
All right, so again, we can press Control Enter to commit this. Now we can go back over to our terminal.
Mingo 64 col.
So I'm gonna Alt Tab back over here and do a clear.
C L
Press Enter and then do a get
G I S
status.
A on branch YouTube dash new. Nothing to commit. Working tree clean.
All right, so our working tree is clean.
New branch dot J.
Okay, so now if we come back over to our Visual Studio Code and we do a Control Shift G,
Read only.
and then
G.
G by itself.
Main landmark.
Now I want you to tab till you hear branches.
Circle new branch dot.
Nope, let's get
Visual Studio. Don't save but main.js.
All right, so Control Shift
Read
G
only.
and then
G.
G.
Source control manage.
Get in your source control. Now tab till you hear branches.
Publish. Commits. Commit the file his branch remote section branches section button collapsed.
All right, we hear branches. Press Enter on that.
Expanded.
It expands it, and then you press tab to get into it.
Branches actions toolbar.
So we have our actions. Let's tab again.
Branches tree view.
And then now we have our branches. So you want a down arrow.
YouTube dash new.
And we're looking for main.
Main 7 minutes ago not.
There's main. So now what we can do is actually hit the applications key.
Menu.
And then up arrow until you hear compare with working tree.
Refresh. Expand. Add to. Copies. Select for. Compare ancestry with working tree 14 of 20. Compare with working tree 13 of 20.
There it is. Compare with working tree. Give me 1 second. Sorry about that. 3 seconds, but that's okay. So we want to compare with working tree.
Compare with working tree 13.
Press enter on that.
Branches tree view. Main.js dash.
All right, so now what this does, it opens us up in the compare and search and compare section. So now we can actually down arrow.
Level 2 behind 0 commits not selected.
We hear behind 0 commits, so that's good.
Ahead 1 commit not selected.
We're ahead of main by 1 commit.
2 files changed. 8 additions left paren, plus right paren, 1 deletion left paren, dash right paren, not selected collapse 3 of.
All right, so we hear how many files were changed, and we hear how many additions and deletions were made. An addition is where we added a new line of code. A deletion is where we deleted. So let's go in here and look. So we right arrow on that.
Expanded.
Expands it, down arrow.
Level 3 main.js / modified not selected 1 of 2.
So main.js modified, that lets you know that it was modified. So it existed, but it was changed. Now we down arrow again.
New branch.js / added not selected 2 of 2 level 3.
So new branch.js, you hear that it was added. So it lets us know, excuse me, it lets us know when we've added a file or when we modified a file. And it lets us know those changes. So I'm not going to go any deeper into this, but just know that there's so much more that we can do to where we can actually see those changes. So what I'm going to do is switch back over to main. We're going to merge these changes in, and then we're actually going to run the code to end the video. So let's go back over to our terminal.
Mingo 64 :
and we're going to get
GIHEOT
main.
AI. Switch to branch main. K black.
All right, so now we
G
get
I get
merge,
E merge
and then
space
new
N E
YouTube.
W E space
I'm sorry,
space
YouTube
O
new.
ube dash new
And you can actually start typing the branch name, and if it's there, you can press tab and it'll find it. So now we're going to press enter on this.
Updating 7 of 42.5 dot dot 7133 6. Fast dash forward.
Fast
Main.js bar
forward.
5 4 plus dash. New branch.js.
All right, nice. So let's clear,
C L K
enter,
black
and then get status.
G Git T U on branch main. Nothing to commit. Working tree clean.
Nice. So nothing to commit, working tree clean. And then if we actually go back over to our
Main.js dash U2.
code,
Main.js slash new branch.js slash main.js
we are now
main dot
merged
main
in and we're on main.
quick
So
input list slash slash con
you can see
main.js dash U2
we're in our main.js
let
file
bar
here.
files
If I
explore
do Control Shift E and I'm in my file
main
explorer,
dot new branch.js not selected.
there it is, our new branch.js.
Let names are
All right, now let's have a little bit of fun and then we'll end the video.
Mingo
So we'll switch back
Mingo
over to our terminal
C
and clear,
L K black laptop
and we will run our first file, which is main.js. So we do, I have Node installed. So with Node, we can
N O
type
D
node
E
space
node
and then
space M N S
main.js. Press enter.
K black laptop dash game Jim Mingo 60.
It's a short output, so sometimes it just reads the terminal resetting. But if we actually use our numpad and press 7,
K black laptop 81 space blank space 8
that was 3 times, and then you hear 8. And so it gives us our response,
dollar node main.js
which 4 plus 4 is 8.
8
All right, so let's run the new YouTube or the YouTube new file,
no space dollar
and then we'll be done. So let's clear this,
C L K black laptop
and then let's run
N
node,
O E
and then
node Y
YouTube. I'm
U
just going to type U, press space. Sorry, press tab, and that will give us the whole file.
dollar node U O Y space space Y U O Y
Oh,
space
I got my
N
brain
W
backwards.
branch.js
New YouTube.js.
dollar node new branch.js
New branch.js. Okay, so and then we press enter on this,
John Mark Kristen K black laptop
and there you go. It read us out our names list. So our code worked, and that also helped you learn something new about Git, and hopefully gave you a tool that you can now use to help you in your daily activities in your software development job. So that was all about Gitlens. I hope you learned something new. I hope you enjoyed this video. I look forward to the next one, and later.
new branch OBS 29